Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Agario or Agar.io. And on this episode, this is another viewer day. We'll continue where we left off on the last one. Now, Matthew is somewhere over here on the board. I should really change. Oh, there he is, right there. We actually happen to spawn very, very close to him. He starts off with a smile sometimes, and then it turns into like Matthew Laggy, and then it turns into something else. So I don't know if he is hanging around over here and he's like, "Oh man, you suck so bad, my smile just went away," or something like that. Oh no, he just got holy crap, the 8 ball ate him. Or even if that's the same Matthew, we just don't know because you can have multiple people with pretty much the exact same name. I don't think it can be exactly the same, but I've seen like on the earlier episodes, and I hate to even like mention his name, but it was like butt cheek, and then you had like butt cheek number 2 and butt cheek number 3. I don't know if it would pass that, but those are the only ones I saw on the map while I was on it. So yeah, we've even seen on one of the playthroughs where people were, I guess, either upset with me or fans of mine that after I had been, I think it was like number 2 or number 1 for a very long time, we started to see people showing up that said AC Gamer sucks. Because again, I think they were kind of upset or in awe or something like that. You'll see that for a lot of people. I've seen it on other people when they've been number 1 for a very long time. Like people were just kind of tired of being chewed on all the time, and because of that, they lash out in the only way they can, which is changing their name because there is no text in this game. Why did he do that? A Garbro? I guess he wants to be friend. No, I guess he just wants to help me out. That's kind of nice. Maybe he was just getting off, and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna crash into somebody that I think deserves it, or just the next person I see. Maybe is the way they work. You just never know what the thinking is behind people. This would be an interesting time if they had voice. Like what would that be like if you popped on your Xbox, put on your headset, and then was like, okay, let's start a Gar.io match, and every single person who was on this map, and there's only probably like 30 of them, so there's not a whole bunch, but every single one of them would be in that voice chat, or at least the ones that had headsets. So maybe 15, maybe a little bit less, but they're all not screaming and yelling at each other, but they'd be taunting each other for sure, and all the different languages they would. I mean, that would be a really weird but kind of cool experience. That would not be something you normally run into with games like this. In fact, the only games that I can think of that would do even close to that would be MMOs. Like MMOs, you will do long conversations with people during raids and stuff like that, and you'll do them with about 24 people on average. Some games are a little bit less, some games are a little bit more, but about 24 on average. And you'll be just surprised about how many people are from other countries from where you live, and all the different accents from all the different regions of different places out there is a really, really cool thing to kind of experience at least once. And I don't know if a lot of people who don't play MMOs ever get to experience that. I think it's just people who do the hardcore gaming stuff that really get to have fun with it. I know my brother, he got I think it was a PlayStation. It might have been the Xbox. I don't know. It was we were playing the game Destiny. I think it was a PlayStation 4, and he was actually grouping with other people because it's a first-person shooter. But there's these raid zones that you need a few other people to be able to do. And at the time, he's not really what I would consider a hardcore gamer. He enjoys games, but he's in the Marine Corps, so it's not like he gets to play all that often. When you first join, I know there's a lot of downtime because I've heard that from both of my brothers when they were in there and they had first joined, and your hurry up and wait basically policy. So you get there really quickly, and then you're stuck there for like 18 hours. So they had some time to kill at times, but after you've been in there for a while, your duties kind of change, and so he doesn't really have, and plus he has a wife and kids and stuff like that, so he doesn't really have the time to be able to play, a whole bunch. And I was actually pretty surprised that he was so eager or so willingly to kind of just get on the game and group with complete strangers that the game puts you together with to do these missions. And in fact, he had made friends with some people on there as well. And I'm like, when we grew up, he was not the one that was big into the multiplayer games. Like he didn't care about those. The only multiplayer games that we really played when we were growing up were ones that you played with somebody while they were in the same room, like Bomberman or Mario Kart or Duck Hunt. But Duck Hunt wasn't even really a multiplayer game. It was like you go, then I go, you go, then I go, almost like Mario was back in the day as well. So yeah, it's one of those weird things that. When I saw that, I was like, "Holy crap!" Even his gaming style is changing because it's just getting so much easier to this guy's gonna eat me if he gets any bigger than he's at right now. He probably would do it without any doubt whatsoever, except there's a guy right above him that is just a little bit bigger, and if he splits off, there's a good chance that guy will eat him. So it'll become one of these like little domino effects where, one guy eats one guy and the next guy eats the next, and everybody ends up dying except for the guy in the back who becomes super huge. And it happens. So you can use that to your advantage. I think that's the only reason I survived that fight right there is that I was able to use the threat of the guy behind him. And you can do that on the exact opposite. Instead of running, away and hoping the guy behind him causes enough threat, you can have it where the guy in front, where you're running, is enough threat. If you run towards a huge, huge, mass, the guy behind you is like, no, because even if I kill you, I'm gonna get killed, immediately after. Now, chances are, if you run towards a huge mass, you're going to get ate. But depending on what your size is and the other bots around you or the other masses around you, he may decide to go after somebody who's just a little bit more valuable than you are. Let's see, Burrs Gamer. And he just ate me. So I was sitting here admiring his name, and he was like, you know what? That guy looks like a good meal. I'm gonna go ahead and eat that guy. And it looks like he's working together with Fernan and maybe Big Fella. Yeah, I think Big Fella as well. Holy crap. My eye is burning, guys. I just rubbed my eye and I forgot that I had tacos and tons and tons of hot sauce. And that is now pouring right into my eyeball. Holy crap, that hurts. Wow. Yeah. That will wake you up, guys. Holy. Oh, yeah, don't do that. Whew. Oh, my God. So now I am looking at the game through one eye. So if I don't do very well, I'm blaming it on that. Yeah, the other one's just a blur, a mass of a painful, stinging, throbbing pain now. It's gonna go away though, I'm sure. Please go away. Yeah, I don't even remember what I'm talking about anymore because that's pretty distracting there. Whew. Yeah. Oh, I'm at a loss for words there. But this is a really cool game. I do greatly enjoy it. I don't know how much longer we'll be playing this one. I know I like doing the community day weekly, during Wednesdays and stuff like that. When I get the new computer, and I think what this is going to become is a live stream on Wednesdays, and then I'll just break them up into episodes, and people who may have missed the live stream can come back on here and watch it. But it's pretty much how I do it anyways. It's like we sit here and film on Wednesdays for 2-3 hours, and I film these 15 minutes to a half an hour long. And at some point, we call it, and we have like last week, I filmed so many episodes that I only had to film like 3 episodes this week, and I'll still have enough. Oh, there's Matthew right there. Nice. Oh, no, 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 don't eat him. Okay, now where are we going? I think I should be able to shoot something at him, give him a little bit of mass, help him out because he is a little bitty itty kind of guy, and I think this will make us even. That way, I don't have to worry about eating him. Yeah, I think I'm maybe a little bit bigger than him, but we'll try to get a little bit bigger together and see how well we can do here. But yeah, I mean, we film so many. It's kind of like the same thing I do when I do the EverQuest videos with Thule or Thum and the other guys. Get out of there! No! Oh man! Oh man! Come on! I'm gonna go in here, and if you're gonna, there we go. Let's get out of here, man. Let's get out of here. No! T-Kill Badger. Is he working together with that guy? I think he might be. I don't know. Oh crap! No, I don't like it over here. Why are there so many big bad guys? We need to definitely go in a different direction, change things up a little bit. And he's having a hard time trying to keep up with me, mainly for the fact that as you get bigger, you go slower. And I am definitely, I was at the time anyways, smaller than he was. Can we eat that guy? No, no. Oh man, Martin, Martin. Oh crap! Get out of here. No, 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 don't do that, don't do that. You know what? Can I help? I want to shoot something towards him, but there's too many guys, and my aim sucks. And I know if I shoot towards him, I'm gonna end up missing like that. That's exactly what I didn't want to do. Okay, we need to get away from this area over here. He may have been telling me to eat those viruses or pop myself on the virus. I didn't really want to do that. For one, there's too many of these guys around. There we go. Can I do it without getting all of my bot? One more. Yeah, there we go. Oh, crap. Oh, man, that was it. When you're that small, it is very hard to control how fast you're moving. And I moved just a little bit too much towards him. And maybe he moved a little bit too much towards me at the exact moment so he could shoot in my direction. Because that's really the only way to shoot is to aim in that direction. And when you're aiming, that's the way you move with your cursor. So, yeah, it's I think it was just bad timing. I think it was really bad timing on both of our parts that we just happened to be moving, against one another at that exact moment to give it just that itty bitty tiny, midge of space to SpongeBob, SpongeBob SquarePants. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. It's probably copyrighted. And some of you guys are probably like, I listen to that all day because I got kids and I don't need to be listening to more of it. Ooh, Sponge. Oh man, I wanted that guy. Just didn't want to merge with him as a meal inside somebody's stomach as a little tiny snack or something like that, which ended up actually happening. So we're gonna see if we can continue to try to find Sue. Yeah, I think that's something about your mother, right? Madre, I think is his mother. Maybe wrong on that one. That's 3 years of Spanish right there, guys. Fantastic, don't you think? It's funny in a disturbing kind of way that I went into Spanish in high school for 3 years, and I went in knowing more Spanish than when I came out. That is kind of sad, but I wasn't the only one. Like it's crazy. Like what was I learning in that class? I don't even remember. For all I know, they were brainwashing me into thinking like I was some secret assassin because I have no clue what we learned in that class. Now, granted, the 2 months that I remember in that class most of all were the 2 months that I was so ill that the doctor was giving me all these like antibiotics and stuff like that to fight the really bad flu that I had. But I was still forced to go to school because the school was like, hey, you can't miss too many days, otherwise we're gonna fail you for no reason whatsoever. Like I could have done my homework from home, but they don't want that because they get paid for every day that you're there, so they want you to be there because they like that money, and who doesn't like money? So I was there, and I was so sick, and I remember the Spanish teacher taking pity on me and be like, if you want to go sit in the back and lay your head down, you know, I won't, complain about it. And I was able to do that, and it was a huge, huge relief that for at least one period a day, I was able to just put my head down and rest like my throbbing head for a little while and not have to concentrate on what I was supposed to be doing that day. But it wasn't every day. Like I had to pay attention and I had to do the test, and I did all the tests in Spanish class and I passed every single one of them. It just seems like it went in one ear and out the other so easily, and I don't know why. I guess some people pick up languages very easy, and no, I was never really one of those people. I'm not really. As far as like voices go, I can hear somebody's voice and years later pick that voice out in a crowd after only hearing them once, like 10 years down the road. I do that with actors all the time. I don't recognize them because they change the way they look, and I'm really good with faces too, so it's pretty good that they can change them enough that I don't recognize them, but I'll recognize their voice and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's that one from that one movie. Or I'll do that with friends that I haven't seen in a very long time, or acquaintances of friends. I'll be like, hey, wasn't that the guy that you worked with a long time ago? And they don't even remember it, except I do, and the only reason I remember it is because of the voice. And so I got that skill. I got that little talent. But as far as like, being able to hear a language that you don't understand and being like, oh, okay, I understand that and I'll remember it. I guess maybe my heart wasn't in it. Like, Spanish is nice to know here in Texas because you live right next to Mexico, and there are a lot of Hispanics here in Texas, so it's nice to be able to speak Spanish. But I don't know. I just and being partly Spanish myself, it probably would have been nice as far as like just understanding my ancestors a little bit to be able to speak that language. Again, we all have our own little talents, and learning language is not one of mine. I do highly appreciate and respect those people who can do that, and I find it fascinating when you're sitting there listening to people who actually do speak another language, and you're just like, wow, like it's cool how the language has developed over time so that we as humans can understand one another. Because when I hear a language I don't understand, it sounds to me like probably the first person who ever made the sounded to somebody else. Like that don't mean anything to me, right? Like what is that supposed to mean? The lips moving and the sounds coming out. Are you getting at something? Like trying to make that first communication so that there was a language and they're coming up with it together and using the grunts and noises and stuff like that. And somehow over the course of hundreds and thousands of years, it's progressed into the language that we know now, and we're completely okay with it because it's the language we're used to. But then when you hear somebody else's, for me anyways, that like conjures that image of like two cavemen sitting around, grunting at one another, being like rock or something like that, right? And it's kind of amazing to imagine that it came from that point to where we're at, and yet when you don't understand the language, it basically sounds like grunts, like oh, rock, right? Like you would think that we have gotten to a point that might be a little bit more sophisticated than that, but at the same time, that is incredibly sophisticated. Like somebody had it, like it just boggles the mind that you can communicate with people not only verbally, but you have to be able to do it another way because you have to be able to show somebody what you were referring to. Like if you're trying to any of those history books where I've heard where people go to other countries back in the day, and they were trying to learn the language for the very first time, and nobody knew the other one's language, like the Indians and or not the Indians, Native Americans and the Spanish explorers coming over, like they had no commonality between their languages, and yet over time they were able to learn that from one another is pretty cool. Like that, the fact that you can like show somebody a rock and they can understand that because they're human and their brain works and processes close enough to what yours processes that you can kind of you know uh, anticipate and even incorporate some of their movements into language and then kind of progress from that point. I can only imagine what the languages in the future are going to sound like. I'm sure there's a movie called Idiocracy that I kind of enjoy. It's stupid, but funny stupid, and it shows the future in almost this dystopian. I don't know what to call it. Like it is a uh, a horrible outcome, but in a way that the people aren't horrible. They just are incredibly daft. Like they are so stupid, guys. There's no other way to put it. They are so stupid. In the movie, they can't even figure out how to put a round peg uh, and which hole it goes into. Like you're not even trying to put the round peg into the square hole. You're just trying to put the round peg into the round hole, and that's the only block they give you on like this little smart tester kind of thing for your intelligence, and they still can't do it. Like that's the point where they're at, and this guy he actually goes into this like hibernation machine, and they forget about him. It's a military experiment. They forget about him, and he doesn't get woken up into something happens, and he just by accident he wakes up, like I think it was 500 years in the future or something like that, and he's the smartest man on the planet now when he was just the average guy. Like that's why they picked him, because he was average in everything. And because of like the way people have been reproducing and the way they explain it in the movie is the people with low IQs are reproducing like crazy because they're not using like birth control and stuff like that, and the people with higher IQs are waiting to the appropriate time to reproduce, and they're trying to find the right mate at the right time in their life where they have the money and stuff like that, and so they're reproducing a lot less often, and so therefore you're getting all these genes that are just from stupid people. Don't think it really works that way, to be honest. That's why I have hope that that is not going to be the case in the future, because I've seen people in school anyways and on TV who have incredible intelligence, and I'm talking about just blow people away, like Albert Einstein intelligence, and they can change the world with just a thought. And the parents they come from, I won't be mean and say they're stupid, but they're not that smart. They're not to that level. And nobody in their family has ever been to that level. And can you say it's genes? Well, maybe. Maybe it was just the right combination at the right moment. Or maybe there's something more to the guy. Maybe there's something that we just don't understand yet. There's a part to the makeup of a person that is more to our understanding than we can comprehend. And you can take that for whatever it is that you want out of that. But it clearly, I don't think it has everything to do with genes. I know genes do play a part in a lot of diseases and things of that sort. So, if your father had a disease or your mother had a disease, like, heart disease or things of that sort, it is a little bit more common that you're going to have that as well, but, not a guarantee. And yeah, it's just with intelligence, so I have faith that the movie won't, be like a premonition to like what actually will happen in the future. But it was definitely funny. I definitely enjoyed watching that movie. It was just interesting to see the take on what would happen if people didn't. Oh crap, man! I die every freaking second in this game. It's crazy. It would be. It's interesting to see what would happen if people didn't study as much as they do. It's one of those things that I watch because I love zombie movies. I love like end of the world movies where I can see like the dynamic of what would happen to governments and stuff like that. I know a lot of people watch those because they like the drama, like with The Walking Dead and stuff like that. I don't like drama to begin with, guys. I really don't. Character development usually does not interest me unless it's in like the third or fourth or even the fifth season where I care enough about the story to care enough about the characters, and only then, only so much about the characters that they are a essential part to the story. Like the story is what I'm interested in. I like the idea in Star Trek when they go to other planets and all they do is see the different cultures that are on the planet and they study that. That is incredibly interesting to me. I don't need a war to break out. I don't need somebody to get kidnapped. I don't need somebody's life to be in danger. Watching other cultures, or at least looking at the idea of like space cultures and what they could be through somebody who has a vivid imagination, is greatly enjoyable. But I know there's pretty much everybody else on the planet enjoys the drama. I can't even pick this one little thing up, dude. That is messed up. That thing just would not let me pick it up. Oh no, crap. And I think we're going to go ahead and end the episode here, guys, because I'm just dying left and right. So, again, guys, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely helps grow the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, make sure to leave those comments down below, and I do greatly appreciate that as well. I do love hearing back from you guys and finding out what you like and what you don't like. What do you think of the gameplay? Preferably one day I will get good enough at this game that I won't die every 10 seconds. But I think that's going to happen a little bit more often when we start streaming, because I bet you more than anything, we're going to get people in here who are just like, I'm going to gobble that guy up. And I actually look forward to that. I think that's going to be really fun. And this guy on the map is so big that he just ate that virus and he didn't bust into pieces because he has so many different pieces as it is. And there he goes. He's getting eaten, getting consumed by somebody else. Again, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you all next time.